What is going on, guys? Joy Friends here at FLEXX Training Systems, and today bringing you an informative video. This type of video or this topic I don't really think I've ever covered. There's some things in here I've actually never said before. Shout out to the Instagram people for making the suggestion. Today we're going to be talking about belt placement, proper belt placement, some things to think about when you're trying to determine, your belt placement. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of get right into it. Also, happy Thanksgiving. For those of you in the U.S., it is Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful for each and every one of you guys. Thankful for the FLEXX team. Thankful for all the support over the years. Really means a lot to me that you guys are, here and have been with me on this journey. So that being said, belt placement. I think that you should place your belt where you want to put it in between, the top of your hip bone and your ribs, right? You could start there, right? You want to cover most of your squishy parts, if that makes sense. And the point of this is to try to create a solid structure with your spine, which is something that is very flexible and can move a lot. So you want to start there, see how it feels. And most of you guys that are serious about powerlifting probably use the SBD belt. I would say if you're smaller, you may not like the SBD belt. You might want a belt that's more malleable, more flexible. Although the SBD belt does come pretty broken in. And there are small women even that use the SBD belt. It's just one of those things that you kind of have to size it and try it out for yourself and see what allows you to get into position correctly. And yeah, that's something that you're going to have to figure out. But I would start with it there. And, you try your squat, try your bench, try your deadlift, and make note of which lifts feel best with that belt placement. I cannot speak today. And then I would say for squat, something to be aware of is if your belt is too low to the point where you can feel your lower back sort of rounding around your belt, it's probably also going to be inhibiting your depth. So if you have issues with depth, I would say an easy thing to try is to try just simply moving your belt a little bit higher. That will probably make a big difference with not only being able to hit depth, but like you can actually hurt yourself if your belt is too low and now you're creating like unnatural movement because your belt is so low. Does that make sense? So like, imagine if you just like had a foam roller and you put it like right on your hips and somebody said, bend down and touch your toes, in between your hips and your stomach, like your belly button, your body's like literally going to round around that. And that's just going to really create problems. So you don't want your belt to be too low. And the SBD belt is very thick. If it's a 13 millimeter belt and you're double lapping it in the front, that's like 26 millimeters, plus you have the length of the buckle, the width of the buckle. It's probably another, 4 or 5 millimeters. So it's a lot. And I think with a thick belt like that, it is something to consider. So in squat, you might want to put your belt a little bit higher. On bench, that one you're going to really have to play with it. Me personally, I like putting my belt very low on bench, and as well on deadlift. Conventional deadlift, I like to put the belt a little bit lower. It just helps me feel more protected. And when I was a bigger lifter, I felt like it gave me a lot of power. Now, some people do like it higher. I could imagine if you're a sumo deadlifter, you're using a lot of upper back and you're really stressing that area, so you might feel good with it higher. So that's just something that you have. Again, a lot of what I'm gonna say today is gonna be like, you gotta try it. I'm speaking generally to like thousands of people on the internet. I don't know who's in front of me. It's going to be very difficult for me to like tell you exactly like what you should do. But I do think it is important to try the belt in different positions for different lifts and see what feels better for you, starting with it in the middle and then going based on that. In the middle between the top of your hip bone and your ribs. You should be able to take your hands and just put your thumb like kind of right on your ribs, and then use your middle finger and your ring finger to kind of feel, where your hip bone is, kind of find the middle right? The middle of that point, and then just put the belt right there and start with that. Belt placement will not always be comfortable. It really won't, but that's okay. When you're wearing a t-shirt and then a singlet over that, the belt probably isn't going to hurt you as much as if you're just training like on your bare skin or on, just a t-shirt. Just like your lifting is not always going to be comfortable. When I'm getting ready for a maximum bench press, it's not comfortable at all. It fucking feels like shit. But I mean, that's kind of what you want, because we're creating a lot of tension. At the end of the day, we're trying to make the spine as mobile as possible while moving through space with heavy loads. Some discomfort is okay, but it shouldn't be so painful to the point where like it can affect your lifting. Like you literally can't get through the lift because it hurts so bad. So that is something to consider, and something that you can change. Or you should change your belt placement, and you might even have to change the belt that you use to more of a leathery, smoother belt around the edges, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Again, higher belt placement can help with depth. Lower belt placement might feel good on certain lifts, like conventional. You have to try these things out. Your stance width plays a role, because your belt has to, it's probably going to come in contact with the top of your thighs and the bottom of your stomach. And you're going to have to move it around based on that. Like I said, it might have to be a little bit higher for you to get into position. You literally probably won't even be able to hit depth. Also, another thing is if your belt is too low on deadlift, depending on how you're built, a lot of depending in this video, right? Depending on how you're built, you might not even be able to bend down and grab the bar without rounding because of where your belt is placed. It's just one of those things that you have to experiment with. Just like with shoes, just like with grip width and things like that. The answer to this question is like, what is the optimal belt placement? It's very individual. It's very open. It's one of those things that you're going to have to experiment with. I'm trying to see if there's anything, that I'm missing here in terms of belt placement. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of the, I'm not very even when coaching my lifters, I'm not super adamant about it has to be a certain way. I just, if I see it's affecting their depth, we'll change it. If I see, that there's a problem, then we might change the belt. It's rare that happens. I actually haven't really seen anybody buy or use a tapered belt in a long time. Maybe really small females, but some people like that kind of belt for bench. One thing I will say on benching with the belt is I get a lot of questions on this. You just have to try it, right? Like everything. For bigger boys, it does help a lot because we have a lot of squish, right? And it just really kind of helps contain all of that and really gives us a lot of pressure that we can use to really fire off. We can use to really fire off our chest when we're benching, and it just makes it so when you're in the bottom position of a squat or even a deadlift, you just pop right out of there, and it's a cheat code, to be honest with you. I always say that I'm not the biggest, most muscular person. Yeah, I've registered 215 kg bench in competition. And then at a lower body weight, I did 210, which was double body weight at 105. So 105 body weight, 210 kg bench. And it's just knowing how to use my body better than other people, knowing how to control the weight and just use my leverages in a way that will give me sort of the, a lot of artificial strength. I'm moving the weight, but it's if I can't incline press that weight or flat back that weight or anything like that. So, it's just one of those things. But anyway, I hope you guys are able to take something away from this video. Currently watching football as I say this. I really appreciate you guys being able to, again, just honestly, man, every Thanksgiving, I look at my life and I'm like, fuck, man, we did a lot of amazing shit over the last years, and you guys have been here on that journey. You could literally go back 6 years this channel has been around and see everything that we've done, or most of the things that we've done, a lot of the cool stuff that we've done, the notable things. And it's just amazing to look back and see where we're at. When I started this journey, I never thought that I didn't really like have a goal. I just enjoyed what I was doing, and I liked winning, and I knew that I had a talent that the space didn't have. And I was able to fulfill that role and, do a lot of cool stuff. So anyway, guys, once again, incredibly grateful for everyone. And it's just been, an amazing time being here, and I can't wait to see what we do next. But yeah, anyways, I might actually do a video talking about the things that I'm excited about or that are coming up in 2023. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Anyway, guys, have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.